Maddie, thank you so much for sitting down with me today to kind of talk about volleyball and life. And first of all, tell us kind of how you got into volleyball.
So I was a dancer really, really long time, surprisingly. So I did dance and soccer. Those were kind of my two big sports growing up. But I wanted to play a sport in college, and my sister was getting recruited and traveling and doing all the fun stuff. So I was like, let me just try volleyball. So when I was 14, I quit dance, went to volleyball, and then it just kind of went from there.
At 14?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so why had you not started volleyball before, when had Avery started?
Avery started, she played YMCA. So she was super, super young, and she loved it from the get-go. And my mom made sure to put us in everything so we could try stuff and see what we liked. But yeah, she loved volleyball from the beginning. But I tried 11. I think it was 11. I tried it, hated it. And so I went back to dance.
So oh my goodness. That is good to know. So why did you hate it? Do you remember?
I don't know. I feel like dance was a release for me. It was really relaxing. I loved being around my friends. There was
express
some
yourself.
Pressure, but yeah, you could express yourself in so many different ways, whereas volleyball was just like more aggressive, even though it wasn't a contact sport. I was used to that, but it was just more aggressive, and like I didn't like just the whole team dynamic aspect of it at first, but...
Well, you have really changed, huh?
Yes, they grew on
and accomplished Okay. Well, you do have 5 siblings, and your dad played in the NBA. So tell me the competitiveness of your home. How's that impacted you?
It's super fun. I mean, we have a lot of game nights, and we spend a lot of time together, and everyone is super feisty whenever we whip out the cards or whatever it is. But we're all super competitive. It's just kind of been ingrained in us, and we've watched our dad be successful in so many different ways, and so obviously inspired by that. But he has a lot of good takeaways and things that he's learned throughout his career, and he's passed that on to us, so it's been great.
How old were you when he retired?
He played for 13 years. He retired, I think, around 2011, so I was like 10.
Okay.
Yeah, 10-ish.
So you got to go to a lot of games.
Yeah, I remember it. I do remember it.
What was it like getting your offer from Kentucky?
It was crazy. It was a dream come true. I mean, there's so many people that aspire to play collegiate athletics, and not a lot of people make it there. So the fact that I was able to go to university and do what I love and represent the school, it was obviously an amazing opportunity. So super exciting.
Absolutely. And what would you say? Obviously, it's a big jump from high school and club to collegiate athletics. Not many people get that jump to be with their big sister, but tell me what was the biggest challenge of making that leap your freshman year?
I think the biggest challenge was just adjusting to being on my own. I mean, you don't have your mom, you don't have your dad, you don't have anyone kind of around you that's you're used to and you're comfortable with. You're in a brand new environment and you're having to navigate all these different things by yourself. Obviously, you have the help of your team and your coaches, but it's different. So I think just the transition of just kind of being on my own and having to just figure out my schedule and be on time and all that stuff was just hard, but obviously you get used to it and it's life skills.
And you did have your big sister.
Yes. Yeah, it was the best having her there.
Yeah, super special. When you transferred to Texas, how was that shift? Like, okay, you went from high school and club to Kentucky, and then what was the shift as far as expectations and obviously you had a lot of success at Kentucky, but tell me about that when you transferred.
Yeah, transferring is not easy, obviously, but my transition could not have been smoother. Everyone here was super supportive and welcoming, and any questions I had, they were quick to answer them, and it really felt like a family. I knew I'd be walking into a program with really high expectations, but I was ready to compete and meet some new people and just kind of enjoy the process. But yeah, it was a transition, but it was great.
Tell me about your head coach.
Jared's awesome. Jared's like a second dad, honestly. We text all the time. He's been with me through breakups, through finals, through everything. And he's more of a mentor, obviously coach as well, but I text him whenever I have questions or business stuff or anything I'm curious about. Like, he's right there all the time. But I couldn't have asked for a better head coach. He's awesome.
And how special is that really with, already I'm learning different coaching styles. My daughter just finished her freshman year and is transferring, but to have that person who is truly what you call a player's coach. Mm-hmm. So coaches love them and would fight and battle through a lot for them. And with the pressure for D1 athletes and to perform and all the pressures that are put on you, How special do you feel like that is, just to have that player focused coach who you can have that relationship with, and feel like, you can tell them about challenges and everything like that?
It's everything. Absolutely everything. I mean, he views me as a person before he views me as his player. And that's been the biggest thing for me. It's not his way or the highway. He's super understandable. And he's built that trust with me and that connection to where I feel comfortable going to him if I am frustrated with him, whether it's playing time, whatever it is. And he's open to that feedback, and he wants to know how we feel, and make adjustments from there. But yeah, he's the best people person. And yeah. He's great.
Well, and it just sounds like he really always has your back.
Absolutely.
And you feel like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're a 2-time national champion in volleyball. Like, for 2 different programs, how does that feel to even say that?
It's wild. It's crazy because I can look back on it and be like, oh my gosh, like we did that. But for people to be able to do it twice, let alone at 2 different schools, I think I was the first one to do it at 2 different schools. So, and then to be able to have a national championship with my sister, like not a lot of people can say that. So
No.
2 very different experiences, but both are just so memorable and awesome.
Right. And you're heading into this season ranked, first in the country, so I don't know that the work is not finished.
No, still have 2 more
You
seasons.
have more fingers for more rings.
Oh yes, absolutely.
How would you say, though, winning your second national championship compared to your first?
The first was, it's your first one. So you've never experienced it before. You've never been on the huge stage with a giant crowd. And again, like I said, doing it with my sister was so insanely special. The second one, I'd gone through a lot of hardships before I got to that point, individually with my mental health, all that stuff. So being able to bounce back like that and then do it again with some pretty amazing people, it's something that I'll cherish for a lifetime. And they're both super special, but just different in their own way.
And probably you learned even more how special it was to win a national championship and how hard it is after the Texas one. Because you come in Kentucky and win it. Mm-hmm. But like you said, you went through some adversity in between those.
Absolutely.
So I think I know this answer, but how did you first try the simplyFUEL protein balls?
So I actually found out about them through Andrea, our coach's wife. She's like, I've tried these protein balls and they're amazing. You should try them. And we're always looking for new snacks and new things to try because we're constantly on the go. So she had me try them and they were absolutely delicious. And then we kind of connected from there. But yeah, it's awesome.
That's fun because, Andrea and I have last year and this year we are a Triple Crown and have booths there, and so it was funny. I'd given her some balls, and then Jarrett kept coming and eating more balls, and because he was hungry. And Triple Crown is a crazy tournament, so yeah. And I was like, I wonder if a couple Texas girls would maybe work with me. So that was very special. But how do you see kind of the simplyFUEL protein balls maybe working into your fueling plan for the season?
Yeah, I think I started doing this summer, but it's been super nice to have a snack that's healthy, easy, quick between lift and practice. That's a really crucial time to refuel, and it's hard to find things that won't upset your stomach, that are too heavy, that won't process or digest quick enough. So that's been kind of the biggest time that I've been using them, and then also to recover because it has protein in it. But in between my workouts has been super nice because I can just grab 2 or 3 and go.
That is perfect. Oh my gosh, you could be a spokesperson. I guess you are. Oh my gosh. How did you decide to partner with my company when I reached out to you? Kind of why did you decide to?
Well, obviously, you're a female-owned business. Love that. And you started from the ground up. I know a lot of hard work has gone into this to kind of build your brand to what it is right now. And you've come out with an amazing product. Obviously, it's tailored towards athletes, but also to other people in general. So I think it's easy. You're super sweet, easy to get along with, super friendly. So it was a no-brainer. I wanted to work with you, and obviously, it's something that helps my performance. So.
Well, thank you so much. And I have really seen even the club girls, younger girls who are like, you're woman owned, and that really means so much to girls now, and women and moms and many dads as well. So I think supporting other women, and we also know that a lot of future CEOs or they played sports. So that's also a place why I love supporting female athletes. And finally, getting in Costco this year, I finally am able to help support. So I'm just extremely thankful that you're working with me. But the other thing is, how do you feel that NIL has kind of impacted your teammates and yourself?
It's been amazing. It's given me so many cool experiences. I've made so many connections and been able to meet so many awesome people that are super high up in the business world and have been super successful. So I think the biggest aspect is obviously it's nice to have some extra money in your pocket, but I've learned so much. And I've had so much fun along the way, but also, I mean, it just provides really cool experiences and opportunities. So it's been great.
Absolutely. You've worked, working with amazing companies, Sprouts, and what's the car that
Vanguard. Yeah. So Vanguard Auto Group, they provided me with a card. I'm doing a deal with them. And they are the sweetest. I mean, if I will buy my own car one day, but I will be getting it through them. They're so incredible. And it's been a blessing. I can go everywhere I need to go. And yeah, it's been awesome.
Very cool. Well, I can definitely see why, just volleyball girls too. My oldest daughter also played. So I've been in the volleyball world, 12 years or something at the highest level, playing open. And I think the highest Jasmine finished was 9th in open at nationals. But it is a unique group of girls. Like, you guys are focused and determined and are just such good people on the inside too. So, I wanted to switch gears to just the transfer portal. Having mentioned that my daughter transferred just very recently, you've transferred. What are your thoughts about the transfer portal, since it's kind of, opened things up for girls?
I think it's great, honestly. And I feel like it's amazing for girls who feel like they maybe made a decision a little too early. I mean, I was so young when I was going through the recruiting process, and I was looking at the school colors. Like, I was obviously looking at the program and the people, but the things that I looked for in a college my second time around was night and day compared to what I was looking for my first time. So, I mean, it gave me a great opportunity to come home and be close to my family, but also to be a part of an amazing program.
And so you mentioned that it made you, you're looking at completely different things. And I understand Jazz got interviewed. I mean, she got recruited early, but now the rules have changed, which I think is a very, a good thing. And even end of sophomore year, so much can change in those 2 years. But what were the things going in the transfer portal from Kentucky? What were some of the things that you wanted to be able to check off?
Location was huge for me, to be honest. There's not too much to do in Lexington, and you have to love that kind of small town feel. And that's just not for me. I grew up in Houston. I'm used to having a bunch of stuff around me, a lot of outlets. And that was the hugest thing for me. I didn't have a lot of stuff to do outside of volleyball in school. And that really drained your mental health. So I think location was key. It was great to be close to my family and be close to places that I was familiar with. I'm in 2 hours from home. I can drive home and see my baby siblings and spend time with them, but also just the people who are incredible. And it really feels like a family. And there's so many resources at Texas. I have everything I could possibly need and more, and they're just trying to equip us from the future. So,
Well, I think they're doing a really good job.
Absolutely. I've learned so much.
You just mentioned your babies at home, your siblings. How old are your younger siblings?
So I have a sister that's 13, Jada, and then Brian's 12. And then Phoenix is 4 and Kai is 3. So they're little. They're little.
Oh my goodness.
But my little sister plays volleyball. She looks up to me and my sister so much. And she's traveling. And obviously I'm guessing she wants to play in college. But yeah, so it's awesome to have them and just kind of mentor them and just try to be the best big sister I could be.
So with having Avery, your older sister, play, and now the experience you've went through, what advice could you give to club mom and dads who there's a crazy part of club, and there's parents that might get a little too involved, but what are your thoughts on what's the best advice if you could talk to girls' parents?
I would say don't pressure your kid into things that they don't want to do. And don't put too much emphasis on you have to perform well, so you have to get recruited and you have to do this and do that. That'll come naturally. And if they truly love the sport, they're going to be successful regardless of what level they play at. But I think that was the biggest thing for all of us on my team. I mean, we loved the sport growing up, and our parents were super gracious if we needed a break or we didn't want to compete at the highest level. They listened to us, and they also helped us find things outside of the sport that we love doing and helping us realize our identity is not in volleyball, and it should not be in volleyball, because you're not going to be most successful that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because I've had the chance to talk to Molly Phillips and Jasmine, and you all three have said that it's not my identity. I'm not just a volleyball player, like of how important that is. Yeah. So what advice have you given to your little sister?
I would just say compete as hard as you can. And she puts in the work. I mean, she's one of the hardest workers I know. She's super motivated and determined. And she has my sister and I as kind of role models to look up to. And we're kind of living the life that she wants to live in a sense. But I would say just continue to find your love for the sport and remind yourself why you started playing. It's because you had fun and you enjoyed doing it. But yeah, she's growing so much and she's enjoying it. Yeah,
what position does she play?
She's an outside. Okay. Yeah, she's a little bit smaller than us, but she has some hops, and see if she kind of joins the outside Skinner fam, but we'll see.
That's fantastic. What is something that people don't know about you?
Not a lot of people know that I play instruments. That's kind of like my random fact that I usually include. I played piano all growing up, and then I picked up the guitar and ukulele when I got older. So that's just kind of a release for me, which I don't have a piano at school, but at home I do, and it's super nice.
Did you take lessons, or were you self-taught? Mm-hmm. You took lessons?
Yeah, I took lessons for piano and then self-taught for guitar and uke.
What made you think to play the ukulele?
I wanted to be able to transport something. I'm always on the move, and like I hated only being able to play my piano when I was at my house.
Yeah, you can't carry it around really
exactly.
easy.
So I wanted something that I could take with me if I wanted to travel, and then also just bring an instrument. So the ukulele was small enough.
That was it.
Yeah.
So you're very musically inclined.
Yes, I love
Is your
music.
whole family, or are some of you guys musically inclined?
Some. My older sister played violin growing up, but I mean, other than that, my mom played piano when she was younger, but. Yeah, I would say probably I'm the most musically inclined out of all.
Hey, that's a good skill. Looking ahead, what are your aspirations for kind of, volleyball or career? What are looking forward? What's that look like?
So I'm a health and society major, pre-med, so I'm on the pre-PA track. So my goal is to go to PA school and hopefully go into dermatology. So obviously I want to play pro, which it's nice that there's so many options now in the States, so I can stay home if I need to. But maybe play overseas for a couple years, come back, finish school, and then get into my profession. But
you got to play, just like you're determined and all the other, it sounds like you really have it planned out nicely.
I'm a planner for sure.
Hey, it's a good thing. And again, that is very consistent with many volleyball players,
yes,
isn't
absolutely.
It? But really last question. Why do you do this? And what makes you so passionate about the game of volleyball?
I love how volleyball is a team sport. Like I said, I grew up doing an individual sport, and at first I didn't like it. I was like, this is different. But I feel like it's grown me so much in my communication and the way I interact. And also we talk a lot about failure recovery at Texas and how quickly you can bounce back from setbacks. And I've translated so many things that I've learned in the game to my life. And also it's just shown me how big this sport is and how many people you can connect with and impact through it. And sports is obviously an amazing thing, but I just love doing what I'm doing and inspiring the next generation of volleyball players. It's awesome.
That's great. And I do have one other question. So from when you first started in club and I know that Texas has an amazing training table and always has been one of the leaders and has several sports dietitians. And how have you kind of shifted thinking about fueling your body from when you were, young in club? Was it your mom saying, eat your snacks, you're about to have the next match, and now that taking responsibility for your body and fueling?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, we were running around a lot, and my mom cooked a good amount, but I wasn't really as mindful as I am now. Now I try to have a lot of variety in my foods, and our dietitian is fantastic, and she's super helpful in coming up with plans if we need help, or just kind of checking our plates and be like, hey, maybe you should grab some more of this. But I mean, Tank is awesome. That's where we eat, and everyone's in there. We eat with football, basketball, women's basketball, like every single athlete is in there, and so you get to obviously meet people, but there's just so many options. But yeah, I've been very mindful.
And there are always more options for the volleyball players when they're in the same place as the football players.
It's
So
crazy how that works.
that's a good thing. Crazy how that works. Yeah. Anyway, it has been an absolute pleasure for you to sit down with me and answer these questions, and I'm just couldn't be more excited to be partnering with you this season.
Thanks for having me. I'm
Thank
excited.
you.